Simba, I will start by saying that we are disappointed by our own expectations. And these expectations are from the promises that the president made when he was campaigning. And until now, he has not addressed them as far as policy making is concerned, or to show any goodwill. Yes. I am sorry, I am a supporter of this government, but if I really want to support this regime, the best thing to do is speak the truth to the powers that may be.
At what point
yes.
do you make it clear, William?
Yes.
I'm just eating into your statement.
Yes.
At what point do you make it clear
yes.
and say, as a supporter, I am disappointed,
yes.
instead of making complex and saying, I'm
yes.
disappointed out of my expectations?
Because our government is losing popularity every passing day.
Mm-hmm.
And I told you here last week, it's so unfortunate that in President William Ruto's first year,
yes.
the people are thinking of a replacement in 2027. You know, that is the sad bit about it. That tells you that people are extremely disappointed.
Yes.
I told you on last week that the president had the answers for this country when he was campaigning. So the question is, why is he not implementing the things he had said? I also mentioned that he said when he was campaigning, and he blamed his predecessor, that the increment on the price of the living cost is not to be blamed on Russia and Ukraine war. He said those are hogwash stories, and he said that is not actually the reason. And he said, if anything that is the case,
yes.
our major problem in this country is the taxes that are on fuel. And so he said that he was going to address the tax of many, or the price of many taxes and levies on the fuel. So when he took over, the first thing he did is this act. Now it's a financial act. You remember there was a lot of debate about it, about the increment of the taxes that Uhuru had taken away.
Yes.
And so fuel is today expensive because of his policies. And you know, fuel is the wheel and the engine upon which this country runs. And I also told you, and I will repeat this, that fuel, I was with my friend on Sunday. He sells petrol. He confirmed what we were saying, that fuel consumption has drastically taken a nosedive in this country,
yes.
meaning that the government is even losing revenue. And when government loses revenue, automatically what happens is what we saw last week. Instead of now, it starts overcharging services and services that we essentially pay for in terms of taxes. Why do people pay taxes? It's so that they can get services from the government. So now when you start overcharging these services, like if you lose an ID, you know all the things that were added last week. Because now government is looking for other revenues of collecting, is looking for other revenues for collecting revenue,
yes.
so that it can subsidize what has been lost. And so the president needs to act and act quick as far as easing the life of Kenyans is concerned. At this point, you can hear the young gentleman. You see, he's young. I don't think even he's married. He's talking of, you know, hunger pangs. He's talking of hunger pangs when he's single. You can imagine these three guys are married. And with children in school. You can imagine the kind of pressure right now these guys are going through. And so, if we want to help the president today, is to actually speak the truth to him and tell him things are not good. And again, if you look at the structures of our power politically, the buck starts and stops with the president. But in real sense, if you look at the structure of the powers, we need to ask our MPs, what are they doing? Because they hold the paramount power at the parliament. What are they doing about the cost of living? You know, it's so unfortunate, and I will repeat again, that these MPs go to the president and tell him, hey, Mr. President, things are very thick down there. We need you to do something. And I asked you here last week, what were the MPs, what miracles were they expecting when they passed the financial bill with all these increment of taxes? So we need to now drifting the pressure from the president. We stop thinking from the old constitution mindset and now start asking these MPs, because they hold the power of parliament, which is legislation, which is representation. We can ask the members of parliament, what are you doing about the cost of living? What policies are you passing in parliament? You guys, you know, you can even recall these financial acts. What are you doing about it? So that now we stop thinking that the president can do everything in this country, and now ask questions to the relevant people, because the president is he is way up there. You have a member of parliament who you can talk to and ask him, what are you doing about my cost of living?
Pretty much. Guess what, Jimmy? I'll be coming back to you. And just say, I'm a deliberate